What's going on, horror freaks? This is Bronco Juggalo, and I'm coming to you with a very special franchise review. This is the first episode of the Leprechaun franchise, and I'm covering 1993's Leprechaun Part 1. Directed by Mark Jones, starring Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun, Courtney Cox as Tori, and Mark Holton as Ozzy. And you'll find out later on in the franchise why I make specific mention of Ozzy. And the storyline is that a leprechaun is free from his captivity and goes on a killing spree looking for his missing stolen gold. Something I want to mention right at the outset of this franchise review is that the leprechaun in each of these films, until we get to Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechaun Returns, is a different leprechaun. So the one in 2 is not the one in this one. There is further evidence to this fact for all you naysayers out there. In this film, the leprechaun outright states that he is 600 years old. The leprechaun in Leprechaun 2 is over 2,000 years old. It's all right there in the films, people. This movie is known for it being a black horror comedy. Now, the thing about that was it wasn't meant to be that way. It was meant to be a straight-up horror movie, and it was Warwick Davis who introduced the comedy aspects. He thought that it worked better, and it needed that comedic flair. Something else very cool about Mr. Davis is that he performed all of his own stunts. Now, I am a huge Warwick Davis fan. I am a very big fan of Leprechaun. I'm a very big fan of Willow. I'm a very big fan of all the work he's done in Star Wars and Harry Potter. And I think that that is a very awesome fact. The fact that this man has done his own stunts. The very famous "fuck you Lucky Charms" line at the end of the movie is actually a fuck you to General Mills cereal. General Mills did not want the Lucky Charms box being shown in the film because of it being a horror film. But they had already given the go-ahead for that to happen. Once they saw the cut of the film, they're like, oh my god, you can't put our box in there. And they yanked it against the contract. Now guys, this is one of my favorite franchises. This is one of my favorite horror films. And I honestly have no cons. Now I know there are going to be issues that people will have with this movie, but I don't have those issues. Everything that people say is bad about this film, I find enjoyable. Like, let's take for example the fact that I think this movie is out fun. I love when he's riding around on a tricycle. I love when he has the killer go-kart. I love all of that. I love when he skates down the hill and he hits the fence and he goes through the fence and it shows the outline all Looney Tunes style. I like all that. I love that about this franchise. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's a good thing. If you're not going to make a serious horror film, make a fun horror film. I love that the leprechaun has a shoe fetish. I thought that was a great little character developmental piece to use in this movie, and it gave us something to laugh at. It also gives our protagonists something to do to distract him with. And I like that. It gives us a more rounded out character. Now, some people say, well, it's shining shoes. You know what? That's part of the fun. Get over it. I also love the leprechaun mythology that we get in this film. You know, we get all this stuff about four-leaf clovers and the end of the rainbow. I like all of that. The only thing is it's leprechaun mythology with a twist. Because if you remember all those stories from childhood, the leprechauns weren't evil beings that were going to rip your face off. And speaking of ripping your face off, I love the kills and I love the gore. There's a great gore scene where he plucks the eyeball of an already dead police officer to replace his own eye with. The way the leprechaun looks at the end of the movie, all melted and gory and goopy and skeletal, that looks awesome. Such a great, great film with good effects, good gore. I love the pogo stick kill. It's so great. It's one of my favorite kills. I featured it on a episode of Bloody Sunday. I love everything about this film. I love the dialogue. Warwick Davis gives such panache to the leprechaun character and to the dialogue that is spoken. Not all of it is great written dialogue, but it's so fun and it's so funny, and the way he delivers it is just amazing. You know, going right into that, guys, I love Warwick Davis in this movie. Warwick Davis just shows his range as an actor. He did such a good job in Willow playing that good, heroic, sympathetic character. And in this one, he plays a downright evil little son of a bitch. and I think he had a lot of fun doing it. Even though in recent years he's kind of steered away from this franchise, after what happened with WWE, and I'll get into all of that when I get to Leprechaun Origins, he wanted to be in that and they didn't let him. After that, he kind of swore off the franchise a little bit. He didn't make the newest one because he said he wanted, his kids to be proud of the movies he made. And personally, I don't understand that. I'm kind of bummed by that statement, but it is what it is. And at the time, it looked like he was having an absolute blast. He did say that the makeup took forever, and that was very hard on him. But other than that, it was a lot of fun. I like all the early 90s special effects, like when the Leprechaun shows up and it shows it like a green lightning version of his skeleton, and then it fleshes him out. I like how at the end when he starts to melt and he looks like, he's glowing, and I like all that. I like how the clover patch is luminescent. And it just very much reminds me of late 80s, early 90s films. When they finally find the four-leaf clover and it glows gold in her hand, that's all just good 90s cheesy fun. And finally, guys, I really enjoyed Jennifer Aniston in this movie. I'm not the biggest Jennifer Aniston fan. She's cute in this film, but also she is just she's kind of a whiny character who turns into a badass female protagonist. She is out there like, let's get this motherfucker kind of deal. And I like that, Yeah, she could be a little whiny, but she was fighting, man. She was really fighting, and I think that kind of led into the Sidney Prescotts that we got later on. So guys, overall, what can I say? Once again, I love this movie. Mark Jones, you did an awesome job, and if anybody out there ever talks shit to you about Leprechaun, tell them to go fuck themselves, because Bronco Juggalo said so. This movie is just chock filled with good, gory fun. If you have not seen Leprechaun, the original Leprechaun, you definitely need to. Check out this whole franchise. This franchise is amazing, good time fun. I guarantee you will enjoy these films if you can just sit down and take them for what they are, which is good, fun, gory flicks. This is Bronco Juggalo saying, peace.